Welcome to Let's Talk Business Tampa Bay.
Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Carl Lucci with Let's Talk Business Tampa Bay. I'm here with my co-host, Walt Morey, and tonight we're going to switch things up just a little bit. We're going to have two guests, and our first guest tonight is going to be John Berry from JB Health and Life Solutions. John is an expert in everything health. Believe me, I know John quite well, and he's going to bring a wealth of knowledge to all of you in as short a period of time as we have on the show. And what I'm going to do, instead of making this a Q&A, John, I'm just going to turn it over to John right now and let him explain to you about all the current changes in the health market.
Good evening, Carl, Walt, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here at Let's Talk Business Tampa Bay. For those of you who don't know me, my name is John Berry, and my company is JB Health and Life Solutions. And my business focus is on health insurance and life insurance, but particularly health insurance for individuals, small business owners, and people who are self-employed or work on a 1099. Where are we? Tomorrow is May 1st, 2014, and we are about 8 months or 9 months now into implementation of the Affordable Care Act. The open enrollment period started on the 1st of October. It ended March 31st. And after a great deal of difficulty in getting the government website to work correctly, it closed out on April 15th for those people who had been in line. So where are we today, and what does that mean to you as an individual and perhaps to you as a small business owner? I'm going to talk about both of those over the course of this presentation. Let me start first with individual health insurance, which is what we have been witnessing over the course of since October until the end of April. That is referred to as the individual mandate, which basically says that every individual who is a citizen or legal resident of the United States is required to have health insurance. You had two choices. You could get a government subsidy, and that was based upon income standards or limitations, if you will. And if you were eligible, then you had to go to the federal website known as the Healthcare Marketplace to obtain coverage and to get the subsidy. If your income was outside of prescribed limits by the government, then you bought health insurance in the private marketplace like you had been doing in past years. Where are we now with the open enrollment period closed? The answer many people think is that you can no longer get health insurance until the marketplace reopens this coming November. That is not true. There are special circumstances under which individuals who do not have health insurance can get health insurance that is part of the Affordable Care Act and healthcare reform. What does that mean? Basically, it means that you have to have a qualifying life event. What is a qualifying life event? Well, let me read to you from the list. If your family status changes, if you're single and you get married, if you're married and you get divorced, if you have a birth or an adoption in your family, if there is a death or a change in tax filing status, that would allow you to apply for health care. How do I do that? You call the healthcare marketplace, but I would much prefer that you call someone like me who is a registered or licensed insurance agent and who is certified to advise you in the federal marketplace. A second means of getting a change or applying for health coverage if something changes is your income. If it either increases or decreases, that would require you to notify the government and see if you're eligible or you lose your eligibility for a subsidy. If you have coverage changes, what that basically means, if you are currently insured by yourself as an individual, but you take a job with a company that offers health insurance, you can change to that company and their group health insurance plan. By the same token, if you are working for a company and you lose your job or quit your job and you are no longer eligible for the group insurance that your employer provides, you can get individual health insurance in the marketplace. If your contact information changes, you change your name. If there's a change in Date of birth. Why one would change date of birth, we don't know, but that's what the government says. If you have a mistake in your Social Security number, if your email address changes, if your phone number changes, your mailing address changes, any of those kinds of things makes you eligible to get health insurance through the marketplace. If you relocate, and this is very important because even if you relocate from one zip code to another, one county to another, if you live in Pinellas County and you move to Hillsborough County, you have a qualifying life event. You must notify the government of that change, and it could change your health insurance because health insurance is very specific to geographic locations. A change in citizenship. If you are an immigrant and gain United States citizenship status, if you are an African American, if you're an American Indian, an Alaska Native, or your tribal status changes, you are allowed to go to the marketplace and adjust your health insurance coverage. And finally, if you are incarcerated and you get out of jail, you're eligible to get health insurance through the federal system. And by the same token, if you go to jail, you lose your health insurance. I don't know that too many people going to jail are going to take the time to call the government and tell them about that problem. So those are circumstances under which you as an individual can qualify for health insurance if you currently don't have it. Those are called qualifying life events. And that is part of the individual mandate. Now, let me talk very briefly about the subsidies. If you are eligible for subsidy, and I'll give you one example, if you are an individual, a one-person household, and you make more than $13,960 in household income and less than $45,960, you are eligible for a federal subsidy. You must then go to the healthcare marketplace, healthcare.gov, but again, I urge you to use a licensed agent to assist you in that process. If you make more money than the $45,960 as an individual, you are not eligible for a subsidy, so there is no reason for you to go to the marketplace. You cannot obtain insurance there. On the other end of the scale, if you individually, if you make below $13,960, the federal marketplace will make a determination to send you to Medicaid, in this case in the state of Florida, where you must obtain your health insurance. Now, it's possible, and I've actually had clients who have applied for Medicaid in Florida, and they have been turned down. In that case, you can circle back to the federal government and apply for health care coverage. In fact, I helped a woman do that just today, earlier this afternoon. So that kind of sums up where we are in the marketplace. Now, there are other options if you don't have one of these qualifying life events, which I just explained to you. You can get other forms of health insurance, and let me just explain those to you very briefly. As an individual, these are not qualified health plans that meet the standards of the government, but they are nonetheless legitimate health care plans offered by all the major most of the major insurance companies in the United States. One of those popular plans is called short-term medical, or STM plans. You can buy those plans on a month-to-month basis from 1 month up to 12 months. You pay a monthly premium. You have an individual deductible. In most cases, you have a nationwide network of doctors and hospitals and clinics to choose from. There are other options in the marketplace. There is a program known as hospital surgical indemnity plans. With a hospital surgical indemnity plan, the plan pays you a specified set of dollars for particular services. One example would be the plan might pay you $400 per night for a hospital room. There would be a list of other things that would go along with that, but that's the idea. So it says if it pays you $400 a night, you're in the hospital 4 days, it pays for $1,600. Now, you'll be responsible for other costs, and there is not necessarily a cap on those costs. So you have to be careful about what those plans are in detail. Another thing that people who don't have insurance, or even those who do have insurance, should think about is what we call supplemental coverage. Those include disability income. Very often it's possible that even the best of health insurance won't cover loss of income. In fact, it doesn't cover loss of income. So having a backup plan that offers you disability income is a very wise protection for you if you are the breadwinner for your family and your family relies on the continuity of your income to pay bills such as mortgage, buy food, car payments, whatnot, whatever it happens to be. There is also critical illness and accident insurance. Some people, if they have a history of particular kind of illness, of heart problems in the family, you buy critical illness coverage and it pays you lump sums of money if you, in the event you had a stroke or a heart attack. Those plans are available to you at any time in the marketplace, and again, you should contact a licensed insurance agent. Okay? Let me switch. We've got a couple of minutes left in this segment, so let me switch briefly now to talk about the small business owner, because I know that there's a lot of questions and confusions out there. We have heard about and talked about, or you've heard about the employer mandate. The employer mandate has been postponed by an executive order from President Obama, and basically it won't go into effect until 2015. But here's what's important for small business owners. And when I say small business owners, I'm talking about companies with 50 or fewer employees. If you are a business owner in that circumstance, number one, you're not required to provide health insurance to your employees. Secondly, there is no penalty if you do that. Now, think about this for a moment. You have a group insurance plan that you are making contributions to on behalf of your employees as a benefit. However, consider this. Most of your employees will be eligible for a subsidy in the individual marketplace. That subsidy does not apply in your group plan. So think about this. Suppose you stop and get out of the group health insurance plans, because what's happening is the costs of those plans continue to rise, both to the employee and to you as the business owner. So if you stop the group plan and simply say to your employees, I'm going to subsidize you by giving you X dollars amount in your paycheck on whatever basis or frequency that you pay your employees. Now, go to the marketplace and get individual insurance. What that does is it opens the door so now the individual can apply for a subsidy, and if they are eligible, get that subsidy, which will reduce their cost. Now, with the money that's left over, you as the business owner have the option, and it's purely an option at your total discretion, to make a contribution to that individual. And you do it on a case-by-case basis, and we do it through what is called a defined contribution plan. You simply set up with a list of your employees. You say employee 1 gets $100 a month, employee 2 gets $50 a month, however you want to do it, and that money goes toward purchase of health insurance. So it has the potential of reducing the cost to you as a business owner in terms of the amount of contribution that you give to your employees, and it still puts you in a position where you are offering a positive benefit for your particular employee. Now, a couple of other questions before I wrap up here. Some of you are sitting there saying, well, I have a health care plan that's in effect, but it's going to expire at the end of May. What happens to me now? Well, what's going to happen to you is that the insurance company is more than likely going to notify you that your coverage is going to change, and as a result, you're going to have to make some decisions. If you are on a plan that you signed up for in 2013 and your anniversary date is coming up this year, end of May as my example, then you will have to switch to a government-approved plan under the Affordable Care Act. That's likely to cost you more money. But that is the option that's available to you unless you decide on some other strategy. Just one other thing. If you decide that you need help, my name is John Barry. My company is JB Health and Life Solutions, and you can reach me as follows. If you got a pen, my email address is jb.healthcare.solutions@gmail.com, and I'll give you my cell phone number. That business number is area code 727-437-9698. Thank you.
John, I've got one real quick question for you, and you gave us a lot of information in a brief, short period of time, and I'm sure there's a lot more information that everybody's situation is different. Why would you think it's so important to use a licensed agent versus just going to the website and signing up?
That's a very simple answer. The folks that are at the other end of the 800 number are good-meaning folks. They are not licensed insurance professionals. They have not had extensive training in what the benefits and nuances are of a health insurance plan. And they're really not equipped to explain to you the details of what you're buying in terms of coverage for all the various categories of services and benefits that are provided. That's why I urge all of you to find someone who is not only a licensed insurance agent, but someone who's also certified in the federal marketplace to assist individuals in obtaining coverage. There's no cost to you as an individual. Our services come free.
Okay. All right, John, I appreciate that. And also, he gave you his contact information, but if you didn't get that written down, you can contact us at Let's Talk Business Tampa Bay, and we'll make sure John gets the information so he can contact you and answer any questions that you may have about the Affordable Care Act or any other insurance issues you may have. Okay, John, thank you very much for being here this evening. And right now, what we're going to do is go to a break, and Walt Morey will be coming back, and he'll be doing another interview with our next guest.
The following program is brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization.
Welcome to Tampa Bay Networkers, also known as TBN. I think you will agree that business networking success is all about numbers. The more new people we can meet or network with, the better our chances for business success. When you attend your current networking meetings, do you ever feel like you are collecting the same business cards and listening to the same 30-second commercials week after week without meeting many new people? Well, that can all change when you become a TBN partner. Tampa Bay Networkers has developed a unique formula for networking groups all over the Tampa Bay. The TBN formula is based on honesty and incentive, and it will provide you with an abundance of new networking opportunities like you have never experienced before. Not only does the TBN formula provide you with more networking opportunities, Tampa Bay Networkers will pay you to use the formula. If you would like to put your business in front of more people and get paid to do it, you need to check out Tampa Bay Networkers.
And here we are, we're back. I'm going to interview a very, very fascinating person that has a great and very interesting business. And I'm going to let him explain it to you. His name is Jim Bubenheim, a company called JB Effects. And I've known Jim for a couple of years. And he has a very, very unique business. There's no one else that I know that really does what he does. So, first of all, Jim, I wanted to thank you for being on the show tonight. And my first question to you is, tell us more about your business. Tell us about your business, how you get started in it, that type of thing.
Thank you, Walt. The way I got started was actually, it was kind of a bad thing. Everybody thinks that all their family's history is locked in. They think pictures aren't going to rot. They think their movies aren't going to rot, but they actually do. And it's not always from something like a storm, a hurricane. If you have something somewhere, that is where it's going to get wrecked at. In my case, the way I got started was I had all my pictures in my laundry room, and the wash machine, the drain blew out and saturated every one of my pictures, my cruise books that I was in, my yearbooks from high school. It was all gone. That easy, that quick. At that point, I realized that I needed to do something. I started learning how to do what I do. So my focus right now is to get as many people to realize how important it is to take their family's history and preserve it and restore it. If you have an old picture of your great-grandmother and it's starting to rip apart, cracked, faded, if you got a old movie film, an 8mm Super 8, those are going quick. It's been 50 years, 60 years since they were recorded. What I do is I transfer it to a more appropriate format, CDs, DVDs, even cassettes, VHS, whatever you have to preserve your family's history, that's what I take care of for you. I'm trying to think of the different formats. There's just so many of them. The VHS, you can get it on a DVD. I'll also YouTube it for you. The Beta was around for a little bit. I take care of that. Even the 3/4 inch, most TV stations used those back in the day. Anything, if you can think of, I wonder if he does that. Yes, he does. I do. As far as newspapers, if you won the spelling bee in 2nd grade, your mom cuts out the article, puts it in the dictionary. You just found it last year. It's probably brown, ripped, a lot of creases through it. I'll make it look brand new again. Whatever you need, that's what I take care of. Even the old reel-to-reels, 8-tracks, like I said, whatever you have, that's what I take care of.
Oh, sounds great. And I've seen some of his work, and I think you've brought a few samples with you, didn't you?
I did. I'll
Just point those at the camera, see if we can't do this so people can see a little bit of the difference.
I brought this here. Hopefully there's not too much reflection.
Okay, that's good.
But
the top one, obviously, is the old one, and at the bottom, you can see it's totally different, much clearer.
It was actually, this particular one, I got the original as well. After they got this back, they didn't care to have it anymore, so they asked me to, they told me I can display it. But it was actually rolled up like a paper towel roll and thrown in the closet, and it fell down. Something fell onto it. 50 years later, they found it and brought it to me, and Jim, can you take care of this for me? Absolutely. And it was very inexpensive to do. I got another example here that I'd like to show. This here, you can't see it real well, but it's I was told it's 150 years old in Yugoslavia. It's a nice family. It was brought to me. It was sewn together with string. And I took this, I cut it apart, put it on my computer, and it's all back to one piece. It's real hard to tell on the camera here. Best thing I can do to say is, if you have a picture, if it's ripped into 20 pieces, you got 15 of them left, bring it to me. No matter how bad you think it is, it still might be able to be saved.
That's amazing. Now, tell me about some of the worst things that you've had. I know you have a shop in Pinellas Park. We'll talk about the address for that later. But tell me about the worst thing that you've seen brought into your shop that you've been able to restore.
Well, a lot of times people think that they'll call me up and say, I got something and I don't think it can be fixed. Best thing I can do is tell them to bring it in. Obviously on the phone I can't tell, but if they bring it in, I'll be able to tell somebody if it can be, and I'll be able to give them a price on that at that time. Now, a VHS, if all you have is just the tape, they'll think, well, that's ruined. Bring it into me. I can fix it. A cassette of their grandmother speaking, and they hid I've had someone bring in a cassette that they hid it on a chair underneath the table, and they were talking to their grandmother. That's priceless. I fixed it. I transferred it, and those are some audio and video extremes. I just had somebody bring me in a collage of pictures, and the pictures were very cracked, faded. I was able to bring a lot of that color back out, fix the cracks, and print it out as a collage again. It was a very beautiful picture when it was all done.
Sounds terrific. Now, I know a lot of the stuff that people have might be faded in color. It might be an old color photo that gets faded over time. Maybe it's sat in the sun for a while, and the sun can eat up color and that type of thing. So if you have something in color, can you restore the color to kind of what it was? Can you do that as well?
If somebody brings me in a black and white, and they want color put into it, absolutely I can make that happen. If the color's faded out of it, absolutely I can make that happen as well. It's a nice, easy process, and like I stated earlier, it's very inexpensive. Well, depending on where you go, it's very inexpensive.
Okay. Now, a couple of other questions. It's a very fascinating business. I've never known anybody else that does this type of thing except Jim, and I'm sure there's more and more demand of it. I know I've got an attic full of 8mm Super 8 films of my family going back to the 40s when my parents got married and the whole thing, and they're just sitting there baking in my attic. And one of these days I've got to get them there, and get those restored and that type of thing. Or I guess you reproduce it in a DVD type situation. Is that what you would do with Super 8 film like that?
Absolutely. What I do is if someone brings me in a Super 8 or an 8mm or even a 16mm, I transfer it. Who's got those cameras anymore? Me. There's a couple other people, but for the price, once again, I go back to that because I try to make sure that I'm the cheapest, or not the most inexpensive, I should say. But it's a nice, easy process. You bring them in, I give them back to you on a DVD. You can watch your family from 50, 60, 70 years ago again.
Okay. Now, I know you have a shop in Pinellas Park, and I know it's in the corner of 49th Street and Park Boulevard. What's the address there?
My address is 7682 49th Street. I'm in Pinellas Park, like you said. It's right in the corner of the building. I'm tucked in the elbow. I'm in between a dollar store and a nail salon. If you can't find me, feel free to call me. My phone number is 727-348-1865. I'll say it again in case you just went and got your pen. 727-348-1865.
Terrific. Just one other question. I guess the question I have is, can you tell me about your the best client that you ever had that were most pleased, or the best client that was the hardest job you did, and it was just a multitude of things that you had to deal with? Tell me about that.
All my customers are super awesome. They're wonderful. But the best customers are the ones that when they pick up their work that I did for them and they start crying. I do memorial videos for people. They bring me in slides, photos of a movie, anything like that. I'll make it onto a DVD. I do my best in making them a nice cover for the DVD, and more times than anything, they start crying. I love it when the cries of joy, I should say. I keep Kleenex on my desk for them. That's what I do. I love making people happy in that way because I just preserved a piece of their family history.
Well, that is outstanding. That's terrific, Jim. And so I want to thank you, Jim, for coming in tonight, and I hope you out there in our viewership have really enjoyed learning about Jim's business, JB Effects in Pinellas Park, Florida. Does a great job. And now we're going to take a brief break, and we'll be right back just to wrap up the show.
Have you ever had the opportunity to refer someone you knew but you didn't have their business card with you? Hi, I'm Bob Terrell, the presentations coach, and I just found this great new free networking and marketing tool that will revolutionize the way you get referrals. It's called mycardlistings.com. It's easy to use, and access is free to everyone with an internet connection. With mycardlistings.com, you can search for the best businesses in Tampa Bay and then share them with others right from your cell phone. Upload your card today on mycardlistings.com so others can contact you anytime, anywhere with a call or email directly from your business card listing.
And we're back. And I just wanted to wrap up the show again. Had great. We should have called tonight's show the JB show because we had John Barry and Jim Bubenheim. So we'll kind of nick this nicknamed this episode the JB episode. But with that being said, as one of the traditions that we do on the show, at the end of the show, we have a secret word, or somewhere during the show, we have a secret word. And tonight, if you know the secret word, if you're the first one to contact me and give me the secret word, you will win a $25 gift certificate to JBFX, to Jim Bubenheim's business. Okay, he's going to give you a $25 gift certificate towards any service that he provides. That's a great value. But the secret word you have to know to get that is monkeys. The secret word is monkeys. So the first person that calls me, texts me, emails me that I receive with the secret word will win a $25 gift certificate to JBFX. I want to thank Talkwad Studios and my partner Carl for the great show tonight, and both our guests again, John Barry and Jim Bubenheim. And it's been a fun tonight running the show. We had a great time with it, and we'll see you next week. Have a great evening.
This program was brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization, setting the standard for new media broadcasting.